This is episode 7 of the Gambling Still Sucks podcast. In this episode, we'll discuss coming clean to your family and friends about your gambling problem. Hey there, and welcome to the Gambling Still Sucks podcast. My name is Jamie. I'm a compulsive gambler, and I'm also the host of this show. I haven't gambled since July 15th of 2010. In an earlier episode, I mentioned the importance of coming clean to family and friends and how it can help you to overcome your gambling problem. And I wanted to take an episode to devote to some of the thoughts or strategies that you might be able to take, as well as some tips on when you do this. The first thing I want to start off with, which is probably the best advice I've ever heard in a GA meeting. A guy was in there and he was talking about how he was just starting to come clean to his wife about things. And one of the older gentlemen, when it was his turn for therapy, he looked at the guy and he said, "Go home and tell your wife everything. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't hide anything. Don't keep anything back. Go home and tell her every ugly detail that you have." At the time, I was about 18 months into my recovery, and this was one of the first times I'd ever heard this advice. It sucked because I really wish I would have heard it on day one, because there were some things that I hadn't shared with my wife and was just trying to was in that mode of, look, this is my problem. I don't want to drag her down into it. And so I will get it fixed. And I was sort of working on it, but not as much as I should have been. So this one sort of hit me and I'm like, man, why didn't I hear that on my first night? At the time I had 18 months clean. So I understood, especially I was living with that white lie or a lie by omission, that I hadn't come fully clean. And I was probably jealous that I didn't have this advice. That's why I bring this up, and this is why I wanted to make this an entire episode, because this is maybe some of the best advice I can give you, which is just tear that Band-Aid off once. If you're still new to this, if you told them anything, and also do it on your own terms. I did not do it on my own terms. I got a letter in the mail that my wife ended up getting to first, that described and outlined my problem that I needed to handle. And we had a little bit of a setback. That really sucked. That was probably the worst stretch of my recovery. Not that I was trying to go back to gambling, but it was very, very difficult because it was something, like I said, I wanted to handle and I didn't. And it was just kind of that last straw. It was the one thing I was sort of holding back, and it all comes out eventually. And so that's why, if anything, don't do what I did. And come clean. And when you come clean to your friends and family, or if you've already done it, set up another meeting and say, look, I know I told you a lot, but there's more I want to share. I only want to do this once. And this starts to get into the strategy of things. I mean, tell them, look, I don't want to live the lies anymore, because you don't. I didn't want to. I just didn't. I felt so much shame and embarrassment still. But once it came out to light, then things got better. And that's kind of been a recurring theme for me, is once things come into the light, things begin to get better. Whatever those white lies or those omission lies or just straight up lies that you're telling, I encourage you, come clean to your family especially. And if they impact your friends, or if you feel like you have some really close friends that you want to share it with them to really help keep you accountable, then do that also. Don't do what I did. Tell everything up front. That is the absolute best advice I can give you. Now, having said this, I know your thoughts probably like mine, which was, but Jamie, I can't put this on my family. I can't put this on my wife. It's something I need to handle because it's not fair to them to put it on them. And like I say, I thought that way as well. But a couple points. One is things always come to light, and doing it, like I said, on your terms will be so much better than if it comes to light not on your terms and not of your doing. If you get caught like I did, it's a bad place to be. The loss of trust was because I didn't share it. It wasn't what I had done. What I did was done. It was the fact that I didn't share that thing. And so I would also say your family and friends, they already know, if they know a little bit about your problem, they're already worried. And if you want to alleviate their worry or their concerns, be 100% transparent. If you get to a point where you just say, hey, look, I want to tell you everything. I don't want to leave anything behind. And you do. And you come clean and you tell them everything. And you say things that are uncomfortable and things that are going to make people upset and people are going to cry. And it's not that you're putting that on them, but that's how you start getting back to a level of trust in that relationship. Really, just not doing it or avoiding it, the mistrust is going to be there. I think that's just human. I know from being on the side, like I said before, I had a friend that was a compulsive gambler, and the trust wasn't there. And had they come and said, look, this is what I did, I'm sorry, and now I want to be fully transparent. I want to tell you all the details, even some of the stuff that I'm not comfortable doing, that would have upped the trust level so much. I know why you think it will impact trust in a negative way, but coming clean and telling the truth is always going to get you into a better situation. It's going to lead to a better relationship, one that's built on trust, and the foundation's already been rocked. And so we really do need to start at that base level, which is strip ourselves down. We have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable and say, look, this is what's happening. These are things I'm embarrassed to even tell you, but I need to tell you so that we can start to build our relationship again. That's it. Come clean, tear that Band-Aid off once, tell them everything. It's not that you're putting the burden on them. You're not shifting the burden to them. What you're doing is you're building a foundation for your relationship to begin to grow again. Because if you build it like I did, and there's even just, everything's mostly solid, but there's one little wiggly brick there, like I had, that one wiggly brick undid a lot of the other foundation, which it shouldn't have. If I would have just said, hey, I have this other wiggly brick and I need to work on it, then that foundation would have been solid. But because I didn't, it caused a lot of problems. So get everything cleared out. Do it one time. You won't regret it. I promise you won't regret it. It's not the most fun thing to do in the moment, but it's the action that we have to take. It's taking accountability for things and beginning to do things in a different way. The gambler in us wanted to hide things. The compulsive gambler in recovery needs to share things. I hope this helps. Please let me know. Reach out to me if I can be of help, if you need to know how to start the conversation. I'll be happy to give any input I can. If you've had one of these conversations, share it. Let us know how it worked, because I think what everybody needs to hear is the success stories. Hey, I did this. It was really uncomfortable, but it got us to this place that we weren't able to get to. And so that wraps up this episode. Find your friends and family. Come clean to them. You'll be so thankful that you don't have to live that life of a lie anymore, and it will help you immensely in your recovery. Now, before you go, I'd like to go over a few very important things. First of all, I think it's important to remember that problem gambling is a treatable disorder. There's no scientific evidence or study that suggests that this is just a terminal condition and that we're going to be forced to deal with the negative side effects and results of our actions for the rest of our lives. And so while I know that in the moment it feels like this is something that you're going to be struggling with for the rest of your life, science just doesn't back that up. Recovery is real, but we just need to seek out treatment. And so that brings me to point number 2, which is that help is available. Many of the states here in the United States actually offer free counseling and therapy for not only gamblers, but family members as well. And so you just need to know that these programs are available. And the best way to start finding out more information is to call the hotline number. And that's 1-800-522-4700. Again, that's 1-800-522-4700. And this is the number run by the National Council on Problem Gambling. And so it covers all 50 states. And they're going to have information and be able to start to guide you on the path to seek out help in the area where you live. And these hotlines aren't just available here in the United States. They're available around the world. So just simply open up a web browser, type in gambling help, gambling hotline, and you'll be able to find the information for your local area. In addition to the hotlines, there are numerous places where you can find gambling support and information online. If you go to gamblingstillsucks.com/help, I'll list some of these things, and I'll continue to add to this as I find new resources, whether they're chat groups or online forums or just great information. So again, that was gamblingstillsucks.com/help. As a disclaimer, this podcast does not provide legal or medical advice. Look, I'm not a doctor, a therapist, or an attorney. I'm just a guy who had a gambling problem. So while we'll discuss a lot of topics and I'll provide a lot of insight into what's worked for me, please seek out the help of a professional. Go visit a lawyer, a doctor, or a therapist to help you deal with your gambling problem. The information that we discuss is for informational purposes and should not be taken as professional legal or medical advice. And reliance on the information appearing on the podcast is solely at your own risk. The music for this podcast is Something Elated by Broke for Free and licensed under the Creative Commons.